I just wanted to make a quick video about self-defense. So first thing about self-defense is it is very dependent on the environment. You imagine this. You're in a sarcophagus and there's a scarab beetle eating you, right? You can't do anything about it. If the scarab beetle was outside on the floor running around, you could step on it easily, take care of it. But in the sarcophagus, you can't do anything. You are more vulnerable, but also in close quarters, you can have the advantage of natural barriers. Someone directly in front of me, and there's a wall to my back. I don't have to worry that any attacker is gonna come at me from behind. Eliminate that possibility. But if I'm in the center of the room, an attack could come from any side, and I have to keep my head on a swivel. If you are standing up, you're in fighting position and you're striking, you should line up your attackers, right? Position yourself so that you can see everyone and finish one opponent, then move on to the next one. This is also the disadvantage of arts like wrestling and jujitsu. In a one-on-one, wrestling and jujitsu combined can be much more effective than striking. In the modern world, we have something called a floor, and it's hard, right? The floor is a weapon. If you take someone down, dump them on their head, you're basically hitting them with a blunt force object. But again, putting someone on the ground is equally possible in striking arts. Just the grappling variations of striking arts. Like in Muay Thai, you can catch a leg, and you can sweep, he's on the ground. So the first thing to consider is your space in your environment. If I do this, that will not do anything. If I extend my arm all the way out and it snaps and twists, that's my full force. All of my body weight is being channeled into these two knuckles. And that can knock someone out. It can cause internal bleeding in the organs and ultimately incapacitate your opponent. The second thing to consider is weapons, because your body is the only thing that you can take into any environment, right? You can take your body into an airport, but you have to leave all sharp objects outside of the airport, and you can't even have it in your luggage. Your body is your most readily accessible weapon. You've probably seen John Wick. He always manages to find a weapon, and that's a real thing, right? A weapon is anything that you can use as a barrier, right? So like you've got a door, you can use the door as a barrier. You can use chairs as a barrier, or anything that you can use again to strike. So you could find a pen, you could find a rock, you could find a bottle, you could find a book, anything to strike. And again, the same principle as with grappling. You find something to constrain someone or tie someone up. Like in jiu-jitsu, when you get the choke with your arm, imagine you could do the same thing with a belt or a sheet or a blanket. Variable to consider is in the mind, right? You have to rely on your gut instinct, your feelings about the intentions of another person, right? And this isn't always easy. Some people are much better at reading body language than other people. And some cultures express intentions differently through body language. You have to know the culture of the place that you're staying in, or you're in a country where people talk very loudly or they're shouting on a daily basis, right? If someone is shouting on me in the streets of Milan, I'm much less likely to take that as a physical threat than if someone was shouting at me somewhere else. With your own body language, you can de-escalate the situation by presenting yourself as not a threat, right? But then in your mind, you need to be conscious that that still is a threat and try to get away from the situation if at all possible. The ultimate guarantor of security is the police services of a country, sometimes the military. The state has a monopoly on violence. Individual people do not have a monopoly on violence unless those resources are completely unavailable. Some countries limit your right to self-defense more than others, but generally speaking, everywhere acknowledges some right to self-defense. There's a quote by Musashi, famous Japanese philosopher slash warrior. He said, "A peaceful person must always be ready for violence. Otherwise, his peace belongs to the person who inflicts violence upon him."